Another woman from India's low-caste Dalit community has died after being gang raped, and it's the second incident in a week. There's already been widespread anger after a 19-year-old died after being attacked by 4 men. Leaders of the opposition Congress party are leading a march to the village of Hathras in Uttar Pradesh. That's where the teenager was cremated, allegedly without her family's permission. The convoy scuffled with police. Among those arrested, Indian Congress party leader Rahul Gandhi. Neha Punya joins us live from New Delhi for more on this. Neha, what was Mr. Gandhi's intention heading to Hathras?
The anger here, Glenda, is quite palpable, and for many days now the opposition has been participating in the nationwide protest demanding a resignation from the Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh, the state in which that crime first occurred, and where the last crime, where a 22-year-old girl was also similarly abducted, tortured and gang raped, also took place. So Mr. Rahul Gandhi, accompanied by a huge number of Congress leaders, was making his way, he said, to meet the family of the victim. He said he wanted to express his condolences and sit there with them in mourning. But even before he could reach Hathras, he was stopped about 140 kilometers away from that place, and he was told by the police that had barricaded the road that there were prohibitory orders in place which prevent any gathering of more than 4 people. The police said this was done on account of a COVID-19 scare. That's when Mr. Gandhi, along with his entourage, got down, started walking on the highway, and that's when the scuffle ensued. There was baton charging. At one point, you can see in the videos that are now circulating on social media, he was pushed by some police officials as well and fell to the ground, and some members of his entourage were also injured. And that's when he, along with his sister Priyanka Gandhi, were both detained. They've now been taken back to Delhi, and what the Congress is now claiming is that this was an attempt by the ruling BJP, both in Delhi as well as in Uttar Pradesh, just try and hide the matter. They're saying the government is afraid about what the opposition might discover when they go to the victim's hometown of Hathras. And this sentiment is also playing out across the country. Many people angry, saying these 2 instances have once again put the spotlight on how unsafe India is. And they're asking questions of the government, both at the centre as well as the state level, asking when are things really going to change for Indian women. Here's a report. Anger over the gang rape and death of a 19-year-old spilling out onto the streets of India's national capital. The woman, who belonged to a formerly untouchable class in India's rigid caste system, was brutally assaulted 2 weeks ago in Hathras in Uttar Pradesh. Her parents allege she was abducted and raped by 4 men who belonged to a higher, more privileged caste. She was strangled, her spine broken, tongue gashed, and left paralyzed by her assaulters. Adding to her family's trauma was the alleged police apathy, sparking widespread public outrage.
से मांग करने आए हैं कि सही तरीके से न्यायिक जांच हो और उसे जो रेप पीड़िता है उसे इंसाफ मिले, और जो कानून व्यवस्था, जो पुलिस वाले दबंगों के साथ खड़े हैं उन पर कार्रवाई की जाए। क्यों 8 दिन तक FIR दर्ज नहीं की गई, इसके लिए वहाँ के जो भी अधिकारी हैं उन पर कार्रवाई की जाए।
जो दोषी हैं उन लोगों को उदाहरणमूलक सजा दी जानी चाहिए, और ये सरकार ये सुनिश्चित करे कि महिलाएं और बच्चियां हमारे देश में सुरक्षित रहेंगी। आए दिन यहाँ 8 महीने की बच्ची से लेकर 80 साल की बूढ़ी औरत तक यहाँ कोई सुरक्षित नहीं है। तो ये सरकारें, जिनका ये काम है अपने देश की जनता को सुरक्षा देना, वो ये भी सुनिश्चित करे कि महिलाएं, जो कि आधी आबादी है, उनको भी, उनकी सुरक्षा को भी ये लोग सुनिश्चित कर सकें।
Angry protesters clashed with police in Delhi hours after her family alleged officers hurriedly cremated the victim without their consent. Eyewitnesses say the family pleaded with the police to not rush the cremation, but instead were locked up inside their own home as last rites were carried out. Protesters are now demanding action not just against those responsible for her rape, but also the Uttar Pradesh police.
So this police abuse of power also comes from the caste prejudice that they are Dalit families and they don't have any rights over the girl's body, and they think it's a Dalit woman body, it doesn't deserve dignity at any point of time, even after death.
Dalits make up the lowest rung of India's caste system and until 70 years ago lived ostracized lives as untouchables. But despite laws to protect them, India's 200 million Dalits continue to face threats, attacks and discrimination. According to government data in 2018, 8 Dalit women were raped every single day. And days after this incident, another Dalit girl was abducted, tortured and gang raped here in Uttar Pradesh. She died while being rushed to the hospital. The public anger in this case has been compared to the nationwide protests that erupted after the gang rape and murder of a 23-year-old physiotherapy intern in Delhi in December 2012. That case had forced the government to introduce the death penalty for rape cases, with the administration saying that will act as a deterrent.
To hang and law to give capital punishment may have also led to a lot of women dying now, because they just kill them because they think if there is evidence left, then certainly they will get capital punishment, and as a result they are killing the victims. So this is not, state cannot absolve this responsibility by saying we have a law.
Data shows that crimes against women increased by 7% last year. And more than 7 years after the Delhi gang rape sparked nationwide protests in India, demonstrators are back on the streets, demanding safety for women and demanding that India start treating its women with respect and dignity. Neha Punia, CNA, New Delhi.